I'm vengeance. And I'm still in the movie theater. And by the way, I had to go pee for the last 2 hours, and I held it because I thought there was gonna be a slow point in this movie. And every time you think there's a slow point in the Batman, it just it picks right back up instantaneously. You can't really miss much of this movie because there's so much to say and do and places to go and clues and riddles to solve. And by the way, I am in the movie theater right now still. I just saw the movie a few minutes ago. And by the way, they gave me a really cool comic book right here. But overall, the best way I could describe this movie is, it sort of feels like the movie Seven. It's very reminiscent to the movie Seven, except now let's make Brad Pitt Batman. Like, that is the vibe I got from this film, and there's nothing wrong with that. Really enjoyed it, man, and this was my #1 most anticipated movie of 2022, and it delivered. I have a few nitpicks and criticisms, don't get me wrong, but man, this is a Batman film I never thought we would see in live action. Very reminiscent to the storyline from the comics of The Long Halloween, which is one of my favorites of all time, and we sort of got that here. But man, it's dark, it's seedy. Paul Dano is a Riddler. I spy with my blind eye. His performance very much reminded me of his performance in There Will Be Blood and Prisoners. It was like a culmination of those two things. But man, when it comes to Robert Pattinson as Batman, if you had reservations, when he's wearing that cape and cowl, I didn't think of Robert Pattinson once. Like, I was like, that could be anybody. Like, I liked his incarnation of Batman, very much so. And there's very little Bruce Wayne in this movie. Very little Bruce Wayne. There's only like a handful of scenes, and they're very short-lived. And that's fine by me. I sort of liked that this was all about Batman. And he was almost addicted to being Batman in this film. You know, he's out all night. Every time he comes back to Wayne Manor, his eyes are all bloodshot. He doesn't care about anything else. He's brooding and moody. And but yeah, as far as the tone, it's what I wanted to see. Once again, this is probably one of the most ultra-realistic versions of Batman we've ever had, especially like the tactical gear of the Batsuit. There's a few surprises. I won't spoil them because I will have a full-fledged movie review coming very soon because I have so much to say, and then I'll have a spoiler video, of course. But man, some of the just sequences where he's like utilizing gear for the first time, and he's almost like afraid to use it. I love that. And the Batmobile in this, pretty badass. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd rather drive the Tumbler if I was Batman, but if I couldn't have the Tumbler, maybe this version, that would have worked for me. My biggest nitpick right now is just some of the pacing. Just like the third act of this movie, it's like stops, goes. You think it's gonna end? Doesn't end, keeps going. And don't get me wrong, I love a long runtime and a very immersive movie that just sucks me into Gotham City, that seedy, dark underbelly. But man, it just, a little tightening up in the second half of this movie. It really could have used it. The best way I could summarize the pacing of this film, it felt like the most expensive Batman limited series ever made for something like HBO. Like the Game of Thrones epicness budget meets a Batman series. Except they didn't have 9 episodes. They just condensed all those 9 episodes into a 3-hour movie. Like, even the way this is paced out, it almost feels episodic in a way. Like, it almost felt like there's parts of this film where they could have ended it, put an end cap on it, said to be continued, and then in the next episode, it continues. Take that how you will, if that's a negative or a positive. But as always, guys, those are my quick thoughts. That's my first reaction. In a way, it almost feels like a 1970s version of Batman. In a way. Like, it almost felt like if Martin Scorsese had directed Taxi Driver, and he's like, you know what, I want to make another vigilante movie, but the guy dresses up like a bat, he would have made something like this, in my opinion. Like, that's the tone. And Gotham City, just, it's so dirty. This was Gotham City done to perfection. Oh, man. So, yeah, check out The Batman if you haven't already. Go see it right now. And as always, guys, leave your thoughts, your opinions down below. My arm's getting tired. And I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.